What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm DS, and as always, I'm here with my guy, Dino Bam Bam. Dino Bam Bam, how you doing, man?
What up, brother? I'm chilling, man. We got a very special guest today. I'm super duper excited. Absolute R boy. I'll let you introduce him, Dino.
Yeah, we've got the one and only Charles innerG Johnson with us today. Charles, thanks for doing this again, man. Appreciate it.
What's up? What's up? What's up, fellas?
What's going on? innerG, baby. Let's go.
How you feeling, man? Oh, and of course,
Feeling
I'm sorry,
good,
we've
man.
got baby. Sorry, I apologize. We've got baby Gia with us as well. Of course, how
Yeah,
could
we got
possibly
baby G here too, so we're gonna have a good little sit down,
Let's go.
have a good little
Let's go.
combo. Yeah.
Hey, let's get it, man. Hey, Charles, I'm excited to see you back in the cage, man. But before we jump into that, I did want to ask you, did you catch this last pay-per-view card, UFC 297?
I was there in person, actually.
Okay.
It was in Canada, so it wasn't too far from us. So me and Joaquin made the trip. It was about 4.5 hour drive for us from where we are in Michigan. And yeah, man, it was. It's one thing I'm a little envious of. I've had 7 fights in the promotion now, but it's gonna be 7 coming up with this fight, and all of them been in the Apex. I want to fight in front of fans with this, so it's kind of like that's probably a bigger motivation outside of obviously winning than anything else that I'm doing. So, I honestly, man, I just want the full UFC experience. I don't think I've been afforded that, and I think I deserve it. So I'm kind of doing this fight for me. Go out here and get this win, so I can get to this next contract and get an opportunity to fight in front of the fans. I perform better in front of people. So like just being there, soaking up that atmosphere, seeing those fights, being around the fans, talking to fans, people coming up to me and Joaquin, and just the genuine love from fans and stuff, people knowing you when they see you. It just feels great, and it's a great place to be when you get ready for a fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I know you are an exciting fighter. I've been watching you since the LFA days, like a couple fights before you got to the UFC. You are definitely a fun, flashy fighter. But really quickly, I want to ask you, what did you think about that main event? Who did you score that for, Strickland or Du Plessis?
I mean, watching it live, I didn't give Sean Strickland a round, in my opinion.
Okay.
Just watching it live, I didn't see him winning that fight. I felt like every round was extremely close, and the thing that swayed my viewpoint from it was in the first and second round, Du Plessis got the late takedowns. Everything else was even. He got the takedowns, and he was pushing forward the whole fight. In the third and fourth, he was mixing up his striking more, and he was also offering just his ring generalship. Sean was throwing a lot of punches, predominantly only. That's how he fights. What was weird to me, he didn't throw that lead teep that he always does to the body much at all that fight, and so he was very one dimensional. And yeah, Du Plessis was wearing it on his face a little bit, but he never got cut. He never got opened up. He never got rocked. He got hit with a decent punch, but so did Strickland. So I just felt like, watching the fight that Sean just didn't do enough to win a lot of those rounds. And I don't believe in the whole you got to take the belt from the champion. No, when you walk in there, it's even grounds and you got to earn that belt again every single time. And I just felt like Du Plessis that night, every time in each round, he did something that took the round, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the takedowns were big. We can't take anything away from those guys. Watching it live, I think I had it 3-2. DS, would you have it?
I had a 3-2 Du Plessis, but I mean, I heard somebody else say the same thing too. That was it. Chael that I think Chael said the same thing, that he didn't see Strickland winning a round. Which, I mean, it was when it's that close. I just feel like I can see it going either way.
You don't give it to him just because it's close and you feel like he should get a round. Like in my opinion, it's like he didn't win a round. Like in my opinion, when you're the champion, you gotta like he didn't have any moments. Like, can you think of a moment in that fight that Sean Strickland had? I can think of a few that Du Plessis had. Sean Strickland at the very end of the fight, the last 30 seconds, they stand and bang. But like that's just for the fans. That's for themselves. Like get this ass little hurrah out. But if he had done that earlier, maybe it would have been a different fight.
Yeah. Sean Strickland's like he's like the way that he talks and the way that he fights very different. You know, he ends up being like a very kind of safe, mostly uses the jab, sometimes uses the teep, like you said, but then we didn't even see that this time. Yeah, you're right. Du Plessis definitely dictated the fight more, if nothing else. So
yeah, and I mean, obviously, when it's a 5-round fight, you know, different people see things differently. So yeah, of course, some judge is going to give it, but I didn't see any when they said Sean Strickland. I was like, what? Like, what? Like, it confused me. I was like, I didn't even think that he won like at least 4 of the rounds. So, and I was there rooting. I was actually like, I wanted him to win. I like him as a champion more than Du Plessis. So, like, I wanted him to win. I was there, like, let's go, Sean. Like, trying to, like, you know, being he had my backing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I'm watching the fight and I'm just being honest, I'm like, dang, I don't think he winning this fight. And then second round go, and then third round go. I'm like, it's close, but it's just, you know, it was a great night of fights though, man. My favorite fight was definitely that 135 fight with the guys from the Contender Series. I think that should have earned.
And City.
Yeah, I think they both would have got like bonuses had dude made weight, you know. So they kind of missed out. Hopefully they gave the other guys some type of performance, you know. But I also felt like that fight could have went anyway. I thought the other guy won. I thought that was the only Canadian that actually won on the card.
Yeah.
You know, even though he was bloody, he won the majority of the third round, the second half after he got dropped and hurt. So like, how much are they scoring damage and the knockdown? Because yes, but that was like the first minute and a half of the round. Like the whole rest of the round, he was pushing them back, touching them, hitting them with everything. So I was just like, the only way they scored that fight for the guy was that if they gave him the third round, it just you don't know how they scored that third round. I think they scored for obviously the guy who missed weight.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was they're talking about doing a trilogy for that fight, by the way. So I'd love to see that.
I think, and what I saw for the first time on Twitter, I think it was Hooper has said something. He was saying when people miss weight, they should be deducted a point. I agree with that. Like, I think my last fight, that guy came in over 2 pounds heavy. We knew about that fight for 5 months. They told me they scheduled that fight with me. I fought Cody Durden April 29th. I flew out to Norway. I had my baby girl May 8th. That fight was booked in July, the first week of July. So you had July, August, September, October, November, October. You like to make weight. You knew about the fight. And I think it was game plan. I think it was strategy. And I think it was bullshit, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm fighting a guy on his first fight. He fight for 10K. They paid me 20% of his purse is 2K. I'm in a lose-lose situation all the way around. I don't have any film on this guy. He's a black belt. He's undefeated. All I got is a Contender Series fight where guys just fold and they don't they get tired after one round. So it's like I'm in a whole lose-lose situation. But they telling me since April, since I fought Cody and when I booked that fight, they tell me that's the only fight that's available. But I'm seeing all these fights getting booked. You know, so for me, it was a lot of frustration when I booked the fight, but then it was just focus, and knew I was prepared. I've been wrestling all this time, and so like you get in there and you get with a guy like that who misses weight on purpose, in my opinion, is heavier, isn't as drained, and it's just in a smaller octagon, and he just wants to hold on to you the whole fucking time. It's not fight you. So like for me, you know, it was very frustrating. And I think I boded well for myself. But like, are these the type of guys the UFC want? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making weight on short notice, 9 days. You know, I'm making weight. I'm stepping in, and I'm here for the promotion. You know, and I'm doing.
You're a professional.
I'm always, you know, doing my job regardless of the situation. I'm always showing up, being a professional about it. So for me, it's just when I seen Hooper say that, like, it made me start thinking, like, yeah, maybe, especially if guys over a pound out, if they don't want to cut the fucking weight, take a point. I'd rather you take a point then give me the money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's still the other half of my check out of
Yeah.
my pocket. I don't give a fuck about $2,000.
Right.
Right.
Especially if
You
the
know what I'm
dude's making
saying?
10 and 10 or whatever.
And if anything, that fight would have been a draw. I feel like I won the last round 10-8. He didn't throw a punch. He was going backward the whole round and taking shots and didn't come forward at all. I had him on his back foot and threw punches from minute 4:56 all the way through. I don't know what a 10-8 is. You know, I didn't drop him, but he didn't do shit. So it's like I watched the fight back and I'm like, well, I lose the first 2 rounds, but you know, it's I think it's a very good conversation. Hopefully, I don't know if it'll ever be come to fruition, but when I saw that, I thought about it. I was like, man, that'll be great if they like, even if it's like maybe we can put it in. I don't know, man. I think it's a conversation to be had though, because
Would
I
you
don't give
take
a
it?
fuck
Would you
about
take
that
it? From,
person.
would you take it from the third round then? The point.
No, just overall, when the fight starts, you already have a point deducted. You know you
Okay.
behind because your ass missed weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
Let me ask.
egregious. And a lot of these guys miss weight purposefully, or they just get to it and like, I don't want to cut it. Oh, it's only 20%, and they only making 10K, 20K. Oh, but if they win, that's another 10K. So they lose $2,000 to make 8.
yeah.
That's a
I get
win.
it.
Let me ask
That's
you
a
this,
win.
Charles.
So
I didn't. Yeah, I feel you. I didn't know we were gonna get into this, but what do you think about open scoring?
I mean, I think it's I don't think anything would change. You know, I just think that guys got to understand the rule, and rules always change. Just be aware of the rules, and you got to kind of play the game. You know, like the NFL changes rules every year. You gotta learn what to play, how to work around it, and what's going to work for this year. That at the beginning of this year, they were saying no forward handoffs. You know, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so it's like it's kind of weird because that was we running the RPO offense. So I'm like, how's that going to affect our team? But they figured out how to change up the offensive scheme for that. So you just got to pay attention to rules. Is always, you know, is that's the name of this is professional sports. You know, you just got to be aware of them and try to win every moment. You know, like it's difficult to say that, but it's moments in every fight where you can sway the fight and get the judges to like be like, oh,
Yeah.
that's, you know, so just a little
Oh,
bit more of that.
sometimes it seems like I think back too, like for example with Wonder Boy, right? When was it Michel Pereira? I think that missed when he was supposed to fight Wonder Boy, he missed weight,
Yeah.
and then Wonder Boy declined the fight, and it seemed
I mean,
like
because Wonder Boy make enough money. He said like I ain't got to fight if this motherfucker ain't gonna make weight. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Where I'm at in my career, like I don't make enough money. I'm trying to provide for my family, and I'm taking these fights I'm growing my brand. I'm growing my name. I'm trying to like grow myself within the organizations and build myself up. I look at these fighters that come up like Charles Oliveira and stuff like that, and Max Holloway. They got to grow through the promotion, you know, and they weren't given undefeated fighter after undefeated fighter after undefeated fighter. They were given matchups that made sense, and they got built through the organization. Whereas I'm like, okay, if I'm going to face this adversity now, I just need to make the most of it. You know, go out here and win, and it's going to get like the path laid forward. It's going to be like dope. You know, so just about getting through what's been my life. It's just adversity, just getting to the UFC, just becoming an athlete, just being what I am now. You know, it's all been adversity. So it's just try not to put more adversity on myself than I'm already facing is what I have to do.
absolutely
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
speaking of undefeated fighters, you got another one coming up this Saturday or next Saturday. What's your what you've been in the cage with a ton of dudes, right? You've been in there with Royval. You've been in the UFC now for what 6-7 fights. You've been in with a bunch of killers. What do you think about this guy, Azat Maksum? What do you make of him when you watch film?
I think, you know, he's a very confident guy. You know, you are when you're undefeated. Um, he knows what he wants to do, and he has a he has a style that is gonna give a lot of people a lot of problems. He pokes, and then everything he throws 110%, and then he can use his freestyle wrestling to get himself out of bad situations, or put himself in better situations if he feels like the guy is not as good at wrestling. So I think that he doesn't really hold too many people down. And I think that this type of style of fight for me is like kind of perfect. and it's something I've been preparing for and been working towards for a year now, over a year, with all the different guys I've faced. So it's a very exciting test. I think that he definitely does some good things uh, within his style, and he does have some things that he needs to work on, as we all do. So it's going to be opportunities.
Right on, right on.
Yeah. One thing I'll say too, you know, when I was looking at this guy's record, and we've been watching film, you know, we do fight breakdowns and all that stuff too. So I found that a lot of guys, I feel like, so he's, I believe, from Kazakhstan, but I feel like a lot of guys in that region, when you look at their records, especially early on, you see a lot of, like, for example, like this guy, he, for his first 7 or 8 fights, he fought guys that were either making their debut. He had one guy in there that was 1-2. Everybody else was 0-0 for his first 8 fights. So I feel like 17-0 is great, right? I'm not, God forbid I'm taking something away from that, but it's just, when you look a little bit deeper, right? It's like these people are literally making their debuts. You're 8 fights in, and you're just still beating up on these guys. So I feel like
Yeah,
there's a little bit
I
of
mean,
edge.
it's a they have a system and it works, and they work it. They work their system to get to their guys where they're supposed to fight. And honestly, more coaches should be that way. They should definitely be building their fighters the same way Jake Paul. Most boxers' records are like that, and I think
100%.
MMA guys are starting to like pay attention to it. I've had a lot of boxing matches, so um it's just about, you know, what's the goal? The goal is UFC. The goal is the highest level of fighting. So let's put our guy against guys he should win in good situation until we get to where we need to, and then we'll test ourselves. And that's where he's at. He's at the testing phase. Tyson 9 was the first test. Charles
Yeah.
Johnson is the second test, and there'll be enough more tests to come. And so he has to really keep defining who he is and finding out who he is through these fights. And it's a good place for him to be, and it's a great place because I already know where I am. You know, so it's a for me. I just think it's gonna be a really good fight for everyone.
Right
Yeah.
on. I'm down.
I agree too. I agree. I think it's a very winnable fight for you too. So
Yeah, every fight is winnable. You get what I'm saying? Like the Cody Durden fight was winnable in transition. I lost that fight in transitions, and his jiu-jitsu, he got to my back, but he was dog shit tired in the third. And if he didn't get on my back, I would have finished him because he said he couldn't feel his arm. He couldn't even throw his right arm. And in the first round, I almost put him to sleep at the end of the first round. He said it was closing in. It was black. I heard him gurgling, and then the time went out. So it's just like it's moments, it's time, it's moments to win. The O'Day Osborne fight, I thought I won that. I did all the damage. He was on his back foot the whole time and kicking and running, and then took the 5-minute break like a pussy, and like I kicked him in the dick, but I didn't, and landed on the waistline on high shorts. And you know when you kick someone in the dick, but he wanted a break. How the fuck you get tired? You've been preparing for a fight for 3 months. I came in on 9 days notice off the boat, chilling, like in Thailand, whole different time zone, so it's moments in every fight, man. It's moments in every fight for you to win, and you just got to be prepared and in the best shape. And I can't say I'm in the best shape I've been in. These last 2 camps have been great. Taking that time off for the last fight, and the frustration from the last fight will carry over to this one. I think I'm gonna be a lot more active moving forward, and I'm prepared, man. If I'm not able to put it together in this fight, then hey, power to him. But I think that what I've been doing, I'm gonna be ready for this test here, and I'm gonna pass it.
yeah.
Right on, man.
With this being the last fight on your current contract, do you feel that puts any additional pressure on you?
No, every fight is like the biggest fight to me. Like honestly, when I fought Muhammad, it was the biggest fight. When I fought Zuma Gulov, it was the biggest fight. Um, like every fight is the biggest fight. When I took the fight against Jimmy Flick with short notice, that was a big fight. First fight of the year. Short notice, more adversity on myself against O'Day. So that was a big fight. I had sinus infection. Like 15-hour time difference change came through, made weight, put it on him, Cody Durden. you know, like for me, it's just I don't know, man. I'm excited, bro. I really am excited. I'm very like nonchalant about everything, but I know how hard I've been working for this fight, so like I'm not even worried about the three losses because for me it's 1 and 2, but it's very like the UFC. I believe McMahon likes me. I believe I know that I've stepped up every time he's called me. My UFC debut was actually supposed to be on 2 days' notice against fucking what's his name, the Chinese chick that I've
Sumaderji.
been, yeah, Sumu Darji. I've been wanting that fight ever since, you know. And I took it. I was gonna make weight. They called me on 2 days' notice, and then medicals wasn't right, so I ended up fighting Makai a month later.
Yeah.
But you know, every time they've called me about anything, I've always said, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it. I got you." You know, y'all got me, I got you. So I think that bodes well with the promotion. I go in here and I get a win. I get a new contract. I'm excited. These guys can't speak English. They ain't got no style. They ain't got no flavor. They ain't cool. They don't know how to hold a conversation. They ain't got no rhythm. These motherfuckers ugly as hell. So like, let's just go. You know, like they need like the weight class is it's perfect for me. You know, like they need guys like me in the weight class. So I just got to get in there and win. I got to do my part.
And there's not too many flyweights on the roster, I think, right? There's like 30
No, it's a
something.
lot, man. It's a lot now
There's a
because they
lot.
signed a lot of contender series guys. They got a lot of
Yeah.
young guys. It's not like these dudes be fighting once or twice a year trying to hold. I feel like motherfuckers just like saying they in the UFC. Like when you in this bitch, you're supposed to be trying to get to the belt. You're supposed to be fighting. You're supposed to be working towards something. These dudes fighting once or twice a year. Like obviously you must be making a good living. Me, this is what I do. So I need to be in that motherfucker. I need to be fighting. You know, and I ain't making much money yet, but you know, I keep doing what I'm supposed to do. I got faith that, you know, God gonna keep aligning me with the right people and in the right situations.
Hey man, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this question, Charles. The nickname innerG, where does that come from, bro? What is that?
It's just me, bro. Like when I got into fighting, I ain't have a nickname for a while. And I had 25 amateur fights. I fought Carlos Hernandez, what's his face? Jose Johnson. He fought at 135 as an
Yeah.
amateur. I fought
Yep.
a lot of guys, man. And
You
for
beat
me,
Jose Johnson too.
yeah, for me, it was about when I got to become a pro. I was like, hey, I need something that encompasses me. You know, who am I? You know, like, and I ain't want to be like the Hulk and all that lame ass shit. So, like, innerG,
Yeah.
bro. Like, you know, like I always been like the guy that can run for miles. I was a cross country track athlete. In high school, I was running 5 to 7 miles a day, and then I got to college. I'm running 10 to 12 miles a day. And then high school, I'm doing 4 sports a year. I'm doing 2 at a time and then 1 and 1. So it's like, for me, I always like people always say, man, CJ can go all day, you know, like he can do stuff all day. And then on top of that, like for me, it was just like what's inside of you, what comes out when you're in the cage, when you're fighting. I learned over time, you know, that shows who you truly are. You get what I'm saying? So people fold a lot in there, you know, people don't
Yep.
show up for themselves. And I always just like made a promise to myself that I'm always show up for myself. So energy is like what come out in that cage, what come out when it's time. That's who you are.
Yep. Yeah. The only thing that we're running around here is mostly just our mouths. So,
Hey,
but I wanted to ask you, how can we as fans, how can we at home, what can we do to bring out our own energy?
man, just do something for yourself to grow every day. You know, for me, recently, this last month, I started like writing out my days, like all day,
Like
like.
journaling.
I plan my whole day. Like I on Sundays I write out my schedule, and then I so I don't have to think about it. So when I do get some downtime, I can be creative. I'm a very creative person. I do graphic design, make music, play games, do whatever. You know, like that's why you know I kind of like got my own stuff going. I got a um I did a whole skit series off of Power Slap. You know, there's I haven't released on YouTube yet. It's a whole series, you know, like and written wrote it, directed it, acted in it, multiple people, right? You know what I'm saying? So like I'm a creative person. So I think the best thing you could do for yourself, man, is just find some time. If it's like at least half an hour a day, like if you feel like you slacking on your health, do something for your health. Whether it's, drinking some water, whether it's going do a walk, go have a walk, you know what I'm saying? Or whether it's reading up on some stuff that you need to read up on. But just gotta do some stuff for yourself, your mental health and your physical health a little bit. Make people start feeling better. Since COVID, everybody got used to being behind masks and hiding themselves, and then when the mask went away, they were still hiding themselves, they just even in the mirror, people gotta get back in tune, with themselves.
I think you're absolutely right about that, man. That's very well put. I also wanted to ask you, so I was looking through your Instagram and I noticed a few posts about different animes and things like that. Are you an anime watcher?
Yeah, I'm on episode 1040 of One Piece. I'm catching up to like I think it's on like 180, 1080, 1090. So like I've been like,
how long did that take you? How long did that shit take you?
So when we found out that we was pregnant, I was probably about 100 episodes in. So it's been like almost a year. Almost a year.
That's crazy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been like binging it. Like I binge it. It's like but I was a Naruto fan. I got stuff on my walls, Power Rangers back in the day, anything WB11, any of that type of stuff, like just into it.
Yeah.
You grow up, you watch all this stuff, and then you get in the cage and you try to do some of this shit. Like I played Tekken growing up. I played the original Tekken on PlayStation. My favorite characters is Martial Law and King. So like I be in there trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I get in there and sometimes I'm just like, I used to joke with my boy Josh Augustine at practices. I'm like, I'm a snake right now. I'm like moving around like this, and I'm like, now I'm like a bear, bro. Like I'm coming at you. You hear me? Like I'll like transform myself in my mind based off an animal. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't know. That's just like the creativity, the arts of it, the fun that make it fun to me.
Yeah. Also, I feel like anime, like especially like I actually haven't watched Naruto, shockingly, but I've watched My Hero. Do you watch My Hero at all?
I watched most of the first season. I think I watched this first season, but it's been a minute.
Dude, that shit gets me hyped sometimes, honestly. Yeah. Like I feel like there's good messages in there. And talking about innerG, you know what I mean? I feel like
if you into My Hero, you definitely like Baki. Baki Hama.
So I watched a little bit of Baki, but
Baki Hama, they actually talk about martial arts in this. Like it's pretty cool. Like
they break it down,
and then you go back and you look it up. You're like, oh shit, that's a real thing.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, Charles. So gotta ask you this, bro. We're two bald dudes over here, okay? I know you got. There it is, 3. I was gonna ask you, number 1.
Y'all in the Skullet gang? What's up, Skullet gang? What's up?
Let's go.
Let's get the back going.
Can you grow it out still or no?
Nah, not
because I know you have that wild ass thing going on back there.
My hair was just like hers when I was a baby, and then like growing up in high school and stuff, like I was CJ with the hair. You CJ with the fro, CJ with the hair. Like my hair was long, and I used to run long distance and have an afro, like and beat everybody. Like I used to lap people. I was that good, and so everybody knew who I was, and like CJ with the hair, like that was me. And then like when I was about 27, 28, I guess I had too much stress in relationships. My hair just started falling out.
Feel that?
I was like, it's cool. I blame it on my dad. He been bald for a while, so I just blame it on him.
Yeah, that's crazy. What inspired the keeping the back though?
Like for one, I always like had hair. I like having hair, but so that was for one. But when I was in Thailand, I was there for about, let's see, a little over a year and a half, and I would like shave my head, but then I like the back, my hair still grows a lot in the back, just like when I had long hair. It still grows the same back there. So it's like if I'm shaving it constantly, it gets irritated, especially in this back area. So when I was in Thailand and I was like shaving, I would shave my head, and then I'll use like, this was the first time I started using like razors often. And so like I would shave my head with a razor, but then it started getting irritated in the back. And I was like, man, I need to just leave that alone back there. And then like I've always been into triangles, you know. So I cut a triangle in the back originally. Like I got triangles everywhere. So I cut a triangle in the back, and I was like, shit, it's just gonna be me. This is what it is, you know. And then I liked it, and then I just stuck with it, and then I started letting it grow out. I met my girl. She's like, I don't like that. You gonna shave that? She didn't like it from the moment I did it. She didn't like it, but I mean, it is what it is. She respected it. You know, she was asking me from the moment, like to this day, from the moment I cut my hair like that, like just to cut it off. Yeah. So like, nah, it's just me. Like, and I don't like cutting my hair back there often, you know. But now it's like kind of like it's just me. So she actually lines it up for me now.
Oh shit.
Hey, I get the
if
same
if I ask her to, she'll line it up for me.
There we go.
Hell yeah. Listen, if you catch me in a couple weeks with the same hairstyle, you know, I'll at least let people know that it's because of you. So
just say it. The back of my neck irritated. I had to leave it alone for a second. And then take a picture. Skull it, gang.
Hey, let's go.
Also wanted to ask you. So I think it's on your back that you have. If I'm not mistaken, it's like Olympic rings tattoo. What was the inspiration behind that? Did you have Olympic aspirations?
Yeah, like I said, I was the man in track and field. I was a 2-time AAU national champion in the 3,000-meter run, 2-time runner up in the steeplechase. My last year, the only guy that beat me broke a national record, and I was like 7 seconds behind him, so I was close to the national record as well. And I didn't lose in the 3,000 meters. Like I was 17 and 18 at AAU, nobody beat me. And so like graduated, went to college, went to a HBCU, full scholarship, and just had big dreams, you know, big dreams, put the shit on my back. I always watched the Olympics, you know, big dreams, big aspirations, and you know, life takes you another way. You know, I ended up being back home, lost my scholarship because I failed biological science twice. I didn't know how to study. I never studied for anything in my whole life. So like I got to college and I passed everything but biological science, but it was like 3 credit hours. I got back to school my sophomore year and was 1 credit hour short and didn't know. I could have took a summer school class, but I didn't know. Yeah. And that was kind of like on me and also on the athletic department. If they would have told me, I would have like done the shit, you know, in the summer. My mom worked at a local school in St. Louis, a college in St. Louis. So she could have got me into a class and I could have just got like 2 credit hours off of basic like speech class or some shit. Yeah. So then I got back to school my sophomore year and they tell me, hey, something's wrong with your credit. You need to go to financial aid and go find out what's going on. They're like, oh, you're not eligible. Like my heart was broken. I trained my ass off that summer after my freshman year. Yeah. My freshman year of college, I got all conference. I got freshman of the year awards. I was like pushing for like I made it to like regionals and cross country and stuff, which is big. And like it was just kind of it was a good ground setting year for me. And then so I grinded, ran more miles than ever after that freshman year. And then I got back to college and got my heart broke my sophomore year, being short 1 credit. I'm like, fuck, man, I could have just took it. And so then like you lose, I'm out of state. And, you know, so I got to figure out how to make money, how I'm going to stay in school, what I'm going to do. So I had to get a job. I had to take out loan money. My mom and them, we don't come from money. So she was like, you got to figure it out. And I did that. I ended up having like, my sophomore year, I had a 4.1 GPA and it flipped my GPA back up. But so I left after the sophomore year, paid for school, paid off all my loans I needed to pay off before I can get back into school. But I went home for a semester and my buddy, he was training. He had like 35 fights. He was like, I need somebody to wrestle with. He wrestled with me in high school. Went in his mom's basement with him. 2 weeks later, I was fighting with him in Kansas. And like I ain't know how to throw my left hand. I'm throwing spinning back fist into a shot, looking like Bruce Lee and shit. Took the guy down. I fought a guy who had 4 fights. It was 4-0. and took him down every round and ground and pound. And that was my introduction into MMA after 2 weeks. And I was like hooked because I was tired of shit and my arms was tired. I've never been that tired in my life. And it was like a 9-minute fight or 15-minute fight. I don't remember whether it was 3 or 5-minute rounds, but I know I was dog shit tired. And coming from a guy who ran cross country and track in college and run 11 miles, why am I this tired, bro? Like throwing boxes at Walmart at the time, trying to save up my money. I'm like, why am I this tired fighting this guy? and
cardio is crazy.
And like it just hooked me. That's what hooked me, and then I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, hey, fight cardio is completely different, man. A lot of people come from different sports. You know, they play soccer, football, basketball, whatever it is. They come into fighting and they're like, I'm exhausted after my first training session. I'm dying because grappling's crazy just to begin with.
Yeah.
And then throwing hands.
I had to learn that every year in high school. I was an all-state wrestler in high school. I was an all-state cross-country athlete. So you go from cross-country to wrestling. Wrestling is during basketball season in the winter. I would get out of cross-country. I made state every year from my freshman year through my senior year in cross-country. And so I would get out of there and we'll already be 2 weeks into the wrestling season because I'm later because I'm going to state. I'm going to districts and state, you know. And so I'm 2 weeks into wrestling season. I get in there like thinking I'm good because I've been doing all this running. It's a whole different shape. It's a whole different body. It's a whole different body of work. You know, you got to get back in wrestling shape. My coaches always tell me all the time, I get in wrestling shape. Let's go. You know, like put it on me. So that's something that like when I had that first fight, I was like, yeah, I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense. Just like wrestling, you know, you got to get into like fight shape. I never threw that many punches in my life, you know. So
yeah, because even if you're in a street fight, you're throwing like 5 punches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing was I was taking them down and I was like in a mounted position throwing punches, but my arms was dead. So like it was nothing on him. So that's the only reason why I lasted 3 rounds because he couldn't get up. Yeah. But I just kept getting in that position and not being able to finish the fight. Not a ref could have called it. I wish he would have, but it was also like, you know, a good learning experience. It is like shit. I'm tired as fuck. I'd never been tired like that. I had never been tired. At that point, I had never been tired like that, like doing anything.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you got your beautiful baby girl, Gia, there. I wanted to ask I'm sure it has, but how has your outlook on fighting or MMA changed after now having baby Gia?
It hasn't, man. It's just I'm just more dialed in, like more. I have to plan my days, which makes me more tuned in, makes me more focused, and makes when I get to practice, like I have goals and I do what I need to do and I get out of there because before you got time to linger, you got time to just hang out, talk, do whatever. Now it's just like I'm going to get this work in, do what I need to do, and I got my whole day planned out, you know. So if anything, she just made me more dialed in, you know, and she's always smiling, so it makes like each day easier. Like you come home, you don't got no reason to be mad when you see her. She happy, you know, like as long as she good, you know, and the wife good, then everything's good with me, you know. So I'm just glad that I'm able to provide. That's what fighting has been able to do. You know, I brought my ladies here. She came from Sweden. She had a nice job in Norway. You know, like she had her own place. Like she didn't have to leave, but you know, so when you take on those responsibilities, and then we have our baby girl, it's like for me, it's just like just growing into fatherhood and being a husband and doing all the things that I'm doing. I'm proud of myself, but I'm also like just focused, man. I got to get these things done, and that's what she does for me.
I love that, man. I love that, Charles. All right, man. We're not gonna waste too much more of your time. Last thing here, we have a running joke on our show. Okay, we play this game. It's called "What Do They Drink," where we always talk about certain fighters. Every card we pick somebody, we ask, how does that guy celebrate? So if Charles innerG Johnson goes out there, he gets that knockout, gets the bonus, the 50 G's. What are you sipping on to celebrate? What do you drink?
Some damn water. Nah, let's be real. I stopped drinking alcohol a couple years ago. So okay. I think probably be a ginger beer or some shit.
There we go. That's
You
what's
know,
up.
something like that. Just some chill and some water, but nobody would have guessed it was gingerbread probably.
No,
There you
never.
go.
We do.
Yeah, I might take. I mean, like if we all doing a celebration shot, I might do that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's been a long time for that.
That's good, man. It's probably best to stay off that. Stay off the
Yeah,
alcohol.
man. I mean, I feel great, bro. Like, you know, the alcohol, you know, it does a lot of different things to your body, you know. And you just feel better, man. You feel a lot
Yeah.
better.
That's
And
facts.
it's so many other things that taste fucking good for you to drink.
No question.
You know
No
what I'm saying? And I think one of the biggest things is just like feeling good, bro. Like I've been eating a lot of melons, like a lot more melons.
Hell
Um,
Hell
instead of snacking on like, yeah, it's easy to pick up some Doritos and some candy and shit like that, right? I cut out all candy. If I do eat, it's like dark chocolate almonds, which is still amazing to me. It tastes great. Like I got a
Fire.
sweet tooth, so when I like actually eat sweet food, like I crave it, you know. So I try to stay away from it.
Is that your junk food of choice?
Though.
When I'm out of camp, it's definitely like cinnamon rolls and like
Okay.
something like that is like my kryptonite. Like I want at least one or two of those. Heat them up, is over with, right? But I try to stay away. Like I don't do any sugar. Like only sugar I get in my body is from fruits when I'm in camp, like when I'm training, which is most of the time. So like when I was in Norway, yeah, like and when she was born, I was sitting down for those. What was that like? That was the longest I ever had to sit down, like 5 months. You know, um, yeah, I was eating every other thing I could find out there. They got different type of like chocolates, and it was this my lady calls it softy, but it's like vanilla ice cream, right? They had on the street that we live on, they make them fresh, like the vanilla ice cream and stuff like that. So you just go down there, and it was summertime in Norway. It was like beautiful, beautiful, and you just go on the street, go downstairs, go halfway down the street, get you a little softy and a snow cone, and like that was my thing. So
The Scandinavian chocolate. It's random, but that we were talking
yes,
about that yesterday. Me and this
yeah,
dude, we're fat, so we love all that. We were talking about Swedish chocolates yesterday.
it is different. It's different.
It's
It
very
is
different.
different. It's I forgot what the brand name is, but it is different than what we have here. I think just a lot of our sweets in general are just like super sugary and just fat. Like just
Definitely.
High
and too
fruit.
fucking big, right? It's like everything's super sized. Like over there, they eat stuff like my girl. This
Well,
is
that's very
crazy, man.
American, you know.
Y'all don't understand. I don't understand it, but like this crazy. She just said this to me 2 weeks ago. She said, "Babe, when you eat stuff, you just inhale it, like the whole thing. You eat it all in one sitting." She was like, "I can have a candy bar, and I've seen this. I can have a candy bar, and that candy bar lasts 3 weeks because she only eats like a piece of it and keep the rest of it in the fridge. She'll eat a piece, keep the rest in the fridge. What? Like I get a Hershey's bar, and that motherfucker gone like in a minute. You
In
know
the
what I'm
car,
saying?
right?
You know,
That's
so
crazy.
it's just a different. It's she's opened my eyes up to like a different culture, different lifestyle, you know, things like that, and just being in Norway, Sweden, visiting these places, being in Thailand. All I eat is fruit because there's so many different type of fruits. Tropical fruits is beautiful, bro. So like you get around the world and you just start seeing American culture is very different. It's very different. It's very fat.
No question.
The whole time I was in Sweden, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but the whole time I was in Sweden and Norway, I didn't see one obese person.
I believe it.
Not one, because you know what their lifestyle is? Ride fucking bikes, walk outside, be active. They're a part of their curriculum in school for the kids is to be outside for like half the fucking day.
That's
In
crazy.
Norway. In
Yep.
Norway. So it's a very different lifestyle than we're used to. And it's a very active lifestyle, and it's very fun to see it. It's very fun to see how those things play out.
Yeah.
Right on.
Who y'all
Absolutely.
got
Well,
coming up
listen,
in the next pay-per-view?
what's up?
Volkanovski, man. I gotta go with
The
Volk.
next 298.
I gotta go with Volk. That's
Thanks.
my boy, man. I got him on the poster right here, right
Yeah.
there somewhere. Yeah, Volkanovski. What
How
about
about
you?
Mom's home. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Hi.
Hi.
Volk's my boy too. I think
Ilya's
he got his
dangerous,
hands,
man.
he got his hands full.
Yeah, 100%.
He got his hands full. And I think that you can't second guess Volk. If he wins this fight, you can never second guess him again.
I mean,
I
he's
think this
Mount
guy has
Rushmore.
a lot of tools to hurt Volk.
I agree.
Will he? I don't know. But I think he is a very tough matchup. I believe in Volk though. I think he'll find a way to get it done. I don't know how. Like from what I've been watching and what I see, I don't know how he gets it done, but I think he can get it done. I think he can.
Volk is really good at making. I feel like better than almost any fighter that I've seen or that I can think of right now. He's really, really good at making on the fly adjustments within the fight.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, and it's something about great fighters, and this is what I say about myself is do a good job at making people who look phenomenal look normal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
And that's why I know. That's why, like, if I speak about myself, that's why I know I'm great because everybody I've ever fought, I made them look normal. It made make them look like people like, oh, why Charles don't do this, but like this guy is actually fucking good, bro. I just make them look normal. I make them look normal. Like they can only do this one thing. If they go anywhere outside of that box, they're gonna lose.
A guy like Mikhaev, right? Like where everybody's
Mikhaev, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, Cody Durden. What do they do? Like, we're gonna hold this position and look at this time, and I'm gonna threaten you a little bit, but we know how we're gonna win this fight, and I'm gonna win this competition. But if this was a battle of wills, none of these motherfuckers would beat me. I know that. You know, like they're all fucking gassing and holding on for dear life at that third round hits.
Like
you
that
know,
fight where
their goal is the first 10 minutes, we gotta win the first 2 rounds. We win that, then we do it. Every need to do get out the fucking third. Sometimes they think they can beat me and finish me like Cody did until he got in the fucking fight and was like, oh shit, I gotta do this or this is not gonna go this way, right? And so you see that with Volk, he makes guys who are phenomenal when they enter that get that matchup, you're like, oh, I wonder if this is gonna be a close fight. And you go in there and you're like, oh, that shit was nowhere near close, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were
Max did that to Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar was fucking everybody up, and then when he went in there and just like made him look like nothing, you know,
crazy shit.
So, you know, it is such a thing as people being on and having great nights, and is there such thing as you know, guys just being great, phenomenal fighters, and that's what you see with a lot of these guys. I don't see anybody beating Islam. I don't see anybody beating Alex when he's on and he's focused.
He's getting older.
I can beat him. Yeah, I think he got at least this year left of title reign contention. Try to push yourself into the number one ever.
Yeah.
I don't think he solidified it yet. I think he's very close, but little bit more, just a little bit more. But that's all up to opinion as well. You know.
Who's your favorite fighter to watch right now?
Right now in this moment, and it's not a champion, is Batista, the 135.
Mario Batista.
Yeah, like I love his pace, I love his style, I love how he's fighting, I love his mentality, I love what he's saying. So like right now, my favorite fighter to watch right now, like within the UFC, is Batista because I like the confidence in how he's fighting. But overall, I watch a lot of different fighters. I have a lot of favorites. Like I like watching Samart. He's a Muay Thai fighter who like the teep master, right? And he fought kind of like Muhammad Ali as a Muay Thai martial artist, you know, with his teep. And his movement was similar to Muhammad Ali's, and he moving just boom. And then I like Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker, Mayweather. I like Jordan Burroughs, obviously, and Khalil Roundtree is like my big bro. You know, like watch him a lot. And obviously you get into championship pedigree. When I first started watching, it was Dominic Cruz and John Jones. Is still that to this day. I like watching them and seeing what they're doing. And then right now, who are champions, it's not many guys for me to watch that I think are doing too many special things, but it's some guys that you can find some things from at all times. But it's very weird the place that MMA is in, because like we don't really have any guys to like latch onto as fans anymore, because the way that the UFC has run the organization and the promotion in the last 5 years is just like a shuffle, and it's like it's hard to like all the big names fighters and stuff like leaving and retiring or
Yeah.
getting older. So it's now we're in this age where people are gonna have to latch on to new fighters, but like the UFC isn't like allowing them to stick around that long, for that to happen. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, with that in the promotion. Because I don't think guys are gonna be in the UFC like longer than 3 and 4 year stints. I don't think we're going to see years and years of people in the UFC anymore. I think people are going to make their money and move on or do other things.
Yeah. Well, listen, Charles, we don't want to take up too much more of your time, man. We're rooting for you next weekend. Is there anything else that you want to say or say to your fans? Anything else that you want to add?
No, man, I just appreciate y'all boys having me on, man. And as always, it's going to be a good little conversation. We praying for the win, praying for the blessing, but regardless, we're going to be good. We're going to be good, man. Like, regardless of what happens with this fight, we're going to be good on this side. And I'm just excited for everything this year has to hold. I've been putting in a lot of work. And so I just thank you guys, man. I thank my team here at Murcielago MMA. And y'all be looking out February 3rd.
Hey,
we certainly will. Thanks again, man. We really appreciate it.
Most definitely.
Dino, take us out.
We'll be rooting for you, Charles. All right, guys. He's DS. I'm Dino Bam Bam. That right there is Charles innerG Johnson. He's got a W loading. We had Baby G on the show today. You guys can follow us on IG at V107MMA. Hit the little subscribe button. Charles, I'm going to go ahead and link your YouTube in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.